Every morning, the young boy performed the same ritual. He zipped his worn blue jacket all the way up and immediately sought the comforting presence of the tiny patchwork pouch stitched carefully inside. It wasn't just fabric. It was a small secret, a source of quiet magic. When his fingers closed around it, the pouch responded with a soft, persistent golden glow that was visible even through the lining of the cloth. And when he slipped his hand further inside, seeking its depths, it didn't feel like empty space. Instead, it hummed, a gentle, steady vibration, like a friendly bird settling down for a long nap. "Remember the rule," his wise grandmother had cautioned him, her voice softer than morning mist. "Only reach inside when you really, truly need it." The tiny pouch seemed to agree with this important directive. It blinked, not with an eye, but with the sudden, brief dimming and brightening of its golden light, followed by a slight playful wiggle that settled back against his ribs. Always riding watch on the boy's shoulder was his constant companion, a quiet fox plush. This fox was a careful, steadfast friend, adorned with a permanent stitched smile and bright, alert button eyes. The fox watched the world unfold with soft curiosity, always prepared to witness whatever came next. That day, the first challenge arrived at the local playground. A towering oak tree dominated the landscape, its massive limbs arching high over the slides and swings. The very highest branch, a thick, strong span of wood, looked perfect, a perch worthy of a hero. But it also looked impossibly far away and undeniably scary. The boy hugged the rough bark of the trunk, inhaling the earthy scent, and considered the distance. His gaze drifted downward, seeking the reassurance of his inner pocket. He thought about the small wonder tucked inside the lining. "Maybe I should use it," he whispered, his voice catching slightly on the fear. As soon as the thought formed, the tiny patchwork pouch warmed his palm, spreading a comforting heat up his wrist. He held his breath, expecting the pull of automatic courage. But then, the pouch gave a small, distinct tug, almost like a soundless, knowing giggle. It wasn't offering immediate assistance. It was asking him to look inward. And in that moment of silence, the boy felt a surprising brave flutter bloom deep inside his own chest, entirely independent of the magical patch. He looked up at the branch, his initial fear replaced by a quiet determination. He smiled, acknowledging the choice he was making, and began to climb steadily, one sturdy foot, one gripping hand, one careful, measured step at a time. The world shrank below him, and the air grew sharper and clearer above the canopy. When he finally reached the glorious high branch, settling himself securely among the leaves, his heart swelled not just with relief, but with earned satisfaction. He had been brave all by himself. The fox plush on his shoulder responded instantly, managing a quick, soft clap with its plush paws. "You didn't need it after all," the fox observed in its small, reassuring voice. "You found the top all on your own." Back at school, a different sort of moment waited, a challenge not of height, but of belonging. The other children were gathering in the corner, choosing teams for an intense game of kickball. Shouts of names and enthusiastic pleas filled the air. The quiet fox plush, still perched on the boy's shoulder, shuffled its soft tail nervously and tucked its plush body closer to the boy's neck. Nobody was asking the fox to play. The boy's stomach did a sudden, uncomfortable flip. This felt intensely important. The vulnerability of his friend was palpable. He slipped his hand into his jacket, seeking the familiar warmth. The tiny patchwork pouch responded with that warm, steady hum, neither demanding nor insisting. It radiated a comforting presence, shrugging kindly as if to say, "This is precisely why I'm here, not for heights, but for heart." Drawing strength from that deep warmth, the boy stood up straighter. His voice, when it came out, was surprisingly calm and clear despite the internal pressure. "The fox wants to play too," he announced, addressing the group. "He's really good at cheering and making sure everyone shares turns." His words sounded simple, an offering of kindness, but they felt momentous, a declaration of friendship and inclusion. The other children looked at the boy, then at the friendly, stitched face of the fox. Smiles spread quickly, and they welcomed the quiet fox plush into their game without question. Afterwards, the boy felt a profound sense of light and warmth glow in his chest, brighter than any patch of gold. The pouch gave a happy little chime, and when he checked, it seemed infinitesimally lighter, as if it had indeed shared a tiny, necessary fragment of its courage. Days later, the entire class was preparing for a small, intimidating concert. The boy knew he would be the first to sing a short solo song. He practiced the melody until it was perfect, yet he still felt a tight knot of worry coiling in his throat. He tentatively touched the pouch again, considering a final grand deployment of its power. But then he remembered the towering oak, climbed without assistance, and the strength he'd found when standing up for his friend with the pouch's help. On the night of the concert, the hall was warm, packed with silent faces. The boy walked onto the stage and took a deep, centering breath. He began to sing. His voice wavered sharply at first, unsteady under the scrutiny of the audience. But then, he found his steady, true beat. He sang the song with honest effort and finished to warm applause. When he walked off the stage, exhilarated and slightly dizzy, the quiet fox plush thumped its tail enthusiastically and hugged the boy tight around the neck. That night, alone in his room, the boy unzipped his jacket and looked at the tiny patchwork pouch. It glowed a faint, deep, proud gold. He realized he did not need to reach inside it. He had learned how to feel a little brave entirely on his own. Each careful time he had used the pouch had not diminished his own courage, but had allowed it to grow just a tiny bit more. The quiet fox curled up beside him on the pillow and whispered, "You taught me how to be brave too. I didn't think I could join the team." The boy smiled and gently patted the warm patchwork pouch, settling it back into the lining. "You taught me something too," he responded quietly, "that we use bravery for kind things, and it grows strongest when we use it wisely." The tiny patchwork pouch hummed like a happy, satisfied bird and settled quiet and warm against the boy's heart. Outside, the moon stitched silver across the dark sky, and inside, the boy and his fox plush slept with steady, well-earned, brave dreams.